need to do the job. That's what's happening here.
The
And
problem,
you keep saying, well, what we need to do is come up with a plan, and then they come here and give you the plan, and then you say we need a plan.
This is not a plan.
This
This is not a plan. This is the stuff you got to do. That's not a plan on how to get it done. This is just all the tasks.
Yes, and he's telling you, yeah, on this full employee, I can get it done.
And it is a plan, because you do have the tasks laid out to what we have to do. And the papers that we have given you in the past shows the timelines of what we have talked about doing.
But it's not a task resource list, which is what we'd have to develop. And you know, I understand Councilmember Bunky's frustration and wanting to do this. You know, I'm certainly, when I see this, because they just happen to dump this on us in November and say, oh, by the way, we're doing it this year, or this year coming up, you know, that puts a grenade hole in your plan. This thing, while we knew while we knew it was coming, we didn't really know what the specifics were until Jeff and I started to roll up our sleeves, and he started working with Dean a lot to get these final numbers. We knew we had an ongoing deal from that when I reported to the council back, I think in August, when we came back from St. Paul. And I think we're doing everything we can as far as trying to look out as to what it is. It's that, what are the projects, what is the manpower and resource list that we think we need to accomplish that. So I understand what your intention is, and we'll try to get there, because we don't have the streets, we don't have sewer, water. But again, we don't want to come at you and say, look, we can just justify 20 more people. I mean, that's certainly not the intention at all. It's a realistic look at what we think we need from a staffing perspective to get this work done in the most efficient manner, and then you folks decide. Do you want to go that route? Do you want to, delay it? Do you want to try to find other ways to pay for it?
I think you can probably say for sure, since 2007, the workload is not decreasing, and it won't for a few years yet. And you haven't really added, since the flood, you had a lot of workforce people, and you had a lot of free help. We had a couple of years actually of free help that we didn't have to pay for, but it was manpower.
We had 9 SDSs
that actually did the work for us.
9.
So we're not, they're not asking to hire 9 people, they're asking for one good man.
And the other thing, this isn't, we need to value our employees. And we need to have valuable employees and say, that guy is valuable and we need him. This isn't, for instance, a big conglomerate that has a couple of universities in town, that has a whole bunch of kids with a whole bunch of part-timers that come and go. And we can just plug them in and do that task. It's important for Public Works to have people that know what they're doing and are very versatile and are very talented, and that we put value in them. See our Public Works crew? They're a bunch of studs, and they get it done. And that's how I see it. And I do not see it as any dummy can do it. Just plug him in. He can take care of it. And if he's gone, put in the next one. It doesn't work that way.
I think if we really looked at everything that gets done, I think we could find a lot of areas that part-time, good qualified part-time help can do, and could save the city a sizable amount of money. Which makes it much easier at that point to justify more full-time employees. Because full-time employees are expensive. We know that.
That's because they're valuable.
We know that. it does, the minute they're hired, they start costing money, whether they're valuable or not. Now, let's assume that we're gonna hire only the most valuable people, and then your scenario works out. But if they're not being productive, and we know that they're being productive, 40 hours a week, we're wasting tax dollar money.
Not what we're doing performance evaluations, and we set goals for them, and we say, you need to perform, and if you don't perform, you're gone.
We're going to start that program, that process. All I'm saying and arguing for is that, just like Jeff was arguing for his guy, I'm arguing for some rational justification and accountability that we know we've got certainty, at least that 80% certainty level that says, yep, this is the right thing to do.
As far as I'm concerned, I got it.
Well, that's
when you have someone that this is the guy that does it, he's proven it to you this year. Am I right, Jeff?
Yes, sir.
Proven it to you. I
And
don't
I'm
want to
not
let him
saying-
go.
And I'm not saying anything negative about Kurt at all. That has to be said. It has nothing to do with the person. It's the concept and the plan and proving that we've got accountability before we do it. Because once we pull the trigger, we own it. There's no getting out of it. A minimum of $44,000. That's what we're talking about here.
Money well spent.
It may be, but we don't have that certainty. Not at this point. We should have been, and that's the reason why I talk about planning, is we should have been justifying this position since it was put in place.
Well, we did though, because if
8
you look
months
at
ago.
when
We
got
didn't.
hired, yes, we did. We went through the process.
we
We
said-
talked about that whole thing when we hired him to go through the process and do the test and look for a man that we wanted. We did it 9 months ago.
We said, we're gonna hire this guy for a total of $22,500 or whatever the number was, and when that's gone, it's gone.
With the understanding that we were gonna look at putting a person
All
on.
the jobs, we're looking at all the jobs in public works.
Yeah.
All
And
the
we did
stages
that.
and all the levels.
Well,
And
we
filled-
haven't really.
Yes,
You have.
yes.
In your mind, you have.
And we've
In
given
my
you
mind,
the
you
paperwork,
haven't.
the paperwork to show everything.
Well, we obviously haven't convinced them. So, I mean, that's really where we're at. And I guess it's up to the council. We've heard both sides. It's up to the rest of the council to weigh in so we can move on one way or the other.
Question, Jeff. All this stuff here and what you've got listed and that, actually, how much is going to be done this winter going on through until spring?
We've been working on stuff actually since fall. We're gonna stay working on it. And until the ground freezes,